Can you explain, firstly, why figures from the far right, like Ben Gvir, Smotrich, and from within the Likud, like Karchi, that I mentioned here, why they want her removed? What laws are they trying to push through?
There are many laws that are trying to push, and she is telling them just that legally it cannot be promoted. And generally speaking, right now it's mainly the extreme right. I mean, just as you rightly mentioned, but there is a problem because many Knesset members of the Likud actually supporting much more Itamar Ben Gvir, the head of the most extreme right party, than they support even Netanyahu, because we have a problem. We have a real problem because right now we are in a very, very, very delicate time because the eyes of the world are on Israel because of all the arrest warrants that were issued in the ICJ and the ICC and many other reasons. And many countries even have this kind of universal jurisdiction. And the meaning is actually that they can indict Israeli soldiers, and not only soldiers. And in this time, if you do something of that kind, the meaning is that Israel does not have a real sovereign legal system. If the government itself is going to dismiss the Attorney General. Right. So let's hope, let's pray that it's not going to happen, because actually the biggest damage will be to Israel.
Look, along those lines, and look, I'm bringing this factor here that you mentioned, the legitimacy of her office. Look, despite her open and really apparent animosity with the Prime Minister, I want to bring that in a minute. It almost is a personal feud almost going on here. The Attorney General Baharav-Miara, she impressed me recently with her scathing letter to the International Criminal Court when they issued their arrest warrants for the Prime Minister, Defense Minister, telling them, how dare you essentially bypass my office and my jurisdiction to politically pursue my Prime Minister. It appeared to me to give her some credibility here, as she has been really an antagonist to the Prime Minister. Look, in terms of that layer of this issue, it's often felt like almost a personal feud with the Netanyahu family and the Prime and the Attorney General here. How much of a factor is that? This appearing to be them versus her.
Yeah, this is the main point, what you just mentioned, and I have to admit it's not clear why they're doing it. I mean, why they're doing it to the Israeli combatants? Why they're doing it to the officers, to the soldiers? I mean, this is exactly. I mean, she is defending Israel right now, and she is quite reliable in the eyes of the world. And what you are doing, actually, you take someone that the world can trust, that the legal systems in many other countries can trust, and you want to dismiss her? What does it mean? It means that you expose the soldiers to indictment from many countries. Like, I mean, let's speak about Spain. They have universal jurisdiction, or Belgium, or many other countries. It's not only, when people think always about the two international courts in Hague. No, it's not only them. It's many countries in the West. And some of them are very hostile to Israel, and they are looking for the opportunity to indict Israeli ex-soldiers. And let's not give them this pleasure in their own eyes.
Look, with your political insight, I know you've got your ear to the ground, talking to a lot of politicians all the time. The main threat being leveraged here, I think, by Minister Ben Gvir, others, is that they will pull their votes from approving the state budget for 2025. Thus, the government itself could be in peril. Is that a real risk right now for this government? That could he essentially topple the government over this?
No, this is not what is going to topple the government. The main problem of this coalition is the draft law, but not the dismissal of the Attorney General. This is not what is going to topple the government. But yet, we know exactly what's going on in this coalition. This coalition is not always, let's say it in a very moderate way. They are not always serving the Israeli interests. They are serving their own interests. Speaking about the Haredim, ultra-Orthodox draft law, and in many other issues. But in this issue, I mean, it's really the soldiers, the officers. What are you doing to them by dismissing the Attorney General? And this is the main problem, I think.